64 degrees in Salem, 63 in the Dalles. Right now, the rains have stopped here in the Portland area and much of Oregon. They're all over in western Washington. They'll move into the coastline tonight, but the Willamette Valley will be dry till early tomorrow morning. Then the rains return. Sun up at 7:09 a.m. It's now 6 o'clock. World News Tonight is next.
On World News Tonight, the Taliban in full retreat. Are some of them trying to strike a deal and turn over Osama bin Laden? Back to Bamiyan, the scars of religious oppression on people and monuments. American Flight 587, why did the plane's tail fin come off? Did turbulence from another jet play a role? We'll take a closer look tonight at the black market for nuclear weapons, how Osama bin Laden tried to get his hands on one, and continuity in a world of change. The light bulb that has been burning for more than a century.
From ABC News, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, reporting from San Francisco.
Good evening from California. It has been hard to get away from New York City since the 11th of September, but finally we have a few days on the road. California, Colorado, and Texas to hear in person about life and issues from other perspectives. Here in San Francisco, terrorism, the war in Afghanistan, and the economy, not always in that order, come up in conversation immediately. It has been another extraordinary day in Afghanistan. The Taliban has abandoned more territory. Life has changed quite dramatically for many thousands of Afghans. And there are even some strong indications tonight that some of the Taliban want to make a deal for Osama bin Laden. And so we're going to start with all that information at the Pentagon. Here's ABC's John McCarthy. John?
Tonight, Peter, late word on those 8 Western aid workers, 2 were American, who had been held captive by the Taliban since August. U.S. officials say they are free tonight, flown to freedom to Pakistan aboard 3 U.S. Special Operations helicopters. Officials say, for reasons that are still unclear, the Taliban let them go. Also tonight, there are reports that some Taliban officials are trying to cut deals to turn in Osama bin Laden. It may be a sign of desperation as the Taliban continues losing territory. Sources tell ABC News some Taliban officials are coming forward trying to collect long-standing offers of reward. Others are looking for favorable treatment for their troops trapped in various parts of the country. Sources say American officials are directly involved in these conversations, which they admit may end up amounting to nothing. Defense Secretary Rumsfeld today, visiting Ground Zero in New York for the first time, hinted at other signs of progress in the hunt for bin Laden.
The interrogations that have been held, the intelligence that's been gathered, I think that we have every day we have a better chance of achieving our goals.
Rumsfeld also told reporters that U.S. Special Operations troops in southern Afghanistan were now carrying out what he called interdictions. Officials tell ABC News these troops are setting up roadblocks on mountain highways, conducting ambushes of suspicious convoys, trying to rattle bin Laden. Far more visible today, more Taliban troops in retreat, as yet another important Afghan city fell to opposition forces. This time, it was Jalalabad, a last stop on a highway to Pakistan. To the southwest, Kandahar, a Taliban stronghold, was said to still be in their hands. But video phone pictures show opposition forces massing outside the city. The Taliban insists that this is all just part of a tactical withdrawal. American officials say it looks more like a collapse to them. Peter?
Thank you, John McCarthy at the Pentagon, and now to Afghanistan itself. In the Afghan capital, Kabul, today, it is the day after liberation. And so there is celebration, of course. There is also a gnawing anxiety about what may be next. ABC's David Wright is in Kabul again tonight. David?
The residents of Kabul enjoyed their first peaceful night in 38 days, and they awoke to a new city. Women washed clothes by the river. A boy carried balloons. People decorated a car for a wedding. Refugees returned home. In the morning market, most women still wore their billowing burqas, but a few showed their faces. Under the Taliban, that would have been a crime. For this city's more educated women, new opportunities. The Bunaya sisters studied journalism and medicine. They were forced to quit school 5 years ago when the Taliban took power. We were abused, she says. Now I think things may be different. The city has been terribly damaged, and the living conditions are desperately poor. Many are starting again from scratch. In the meantime, forces of the Northern Alliance are on view across the city. There are checkpoints at major intersections where soldiers peer into cars looking for members of the Taliban or the Al-Qaeda network. Today, authorities searched an abandoned home they say belonged to one of Osama bin Laden's assistants. Neighbors say dozens of Arab men came and went from the house. Security forces found hundreds of documents in Arabic. A ledger with a list of names.
This is a list of names of the people of Al-Qaeda.
Pages from what may be a terrorist manual.
Ammonia, gelatin dynamite, basting gelatin. These are recipes for bombs.
And there were videotapes. Home movies of terror set to music. In these scenes, attacks against Russian soldiers in Chechnya. It's the same type of tape found in Al-Qaeda homes and apartments around the world. Northern Alliance forces say there may be dozens of terrorist safe houses in Kabul. Frontline bunkers in a different sort of war. The Taliban bunkers were clearly defined positions with a limited range of attack. This sort of bunker blends right into the neighborhood. It could be used to mount an attack an ocean away. The terrorists who lived here are gone now. No one knows where they are. David Wright, ABC News, Kabul.
There were so many searing images of Taliban rule. You may remember the destruction earlier this year of the sacred Buddhas at Bamiyan in central Afghanistan. The Taliban destroyed the Buddhas after decreeing that all statues were false idols and therefore an offense to Islam. Well, the Taliban have now left Bamiyan as well, and the BBC's correspondent, David Loyne, reached there this morning.
Our driver was cautious on the maze of tracks from the mountains to Bamiyan in case there might still be mines on the road. What we found was a scene of complete devastation. The forces who'd retaken their hometown rushed first to the place where the Buddhas, the largest in the ancient world, stood until they were destroyed by the Taliban. The people who live here now are not Buddhists, but were persecuted more by the Taliban than any other group because they are from the minority Shia branch of Islam. Bamiyan was systematically put to the sword by the Taliban. Shops and houses were all burnt during their occupation. Hundreds of men were taken out and shot in Bosnian-style ethnic cleansing. Ahmed says it was terrible when they were here. They burned houses and killed people. After the gun battle which drove out the Taliban, Bamiyan is now strangely silent. The Taliban took out its heart. This gaping hole in the wall of the Hindu Kush is the enduring legacy of the Taliban, whose desire to build a world in their own image led them to destroy images revered by others, as well as ending the lives of thousands of people. We found evidence of Taliban atrocities across the Hazara region. This is the town of Yakovlang, which the Taliban took and burnt earlier this year. And then, high in the mountain wastes, we found the people of Bamiyan beginning to make their way home from their exile above the snowline. David Loyne, BBC News, in the Hindu Kush.
The Taliban's retreat has opened up at least one aid corridor into northern Afghanistan. Today, the United Nations sent its first barge carrying food and winter clothing across the Amu Darya River, which separates Afghanistan from Uzbekistan. The United Nations says there are about 3 million people in that region alone who are in need of aid. And now to the other major story of the day. In New York City today, investigators removed the engines from the wreckage of American Airlines Flight 587. The plane's damaged flight recorder went to Sarasota today, where its manufacturer will try to decipher the information on it. There is still a widespread belief that this crash was an accident. Here's ABC's Lisa Stark.
Peter, everything is pointing to a mechanical or structural problem in the tail of this airplane. And tonight, American Airlines announced it will begin inspecting the tail sections of its remaining Airbus A300s. Investigators today pulled more pieces of charred airplane out of the piles of wreckage and burned homes as they try to reconstruct what went wrong.
The nose of the aircraft, the forward section of the aircraft came down in this manner in this area.
The key part they are focusing on is this, the tail cone of the airplane. and the brackets where the vertical portion of the tail or the fin attaches to the fuselage. The tail fin was the part found closest to Kennedy Airport, pulled out of Jamaica Bay. It now seems likely this was the first part of the aircraft to rip off, sending the plane into a spiraling dive, the forces shearing off both engines. The fin of the Airbus A300 is fastened to the fuselage at 6 points. That's where it appears to have broken off. All of the metal bolts that hold the pieces together have been found. 7 years ago, this very plane encountered severe air turbulence. 47 passengers were hurt. Investigators now want to know if the tail structure was weakened in any way by that incident.
It's entirely possible that the encounter with the clear air turbulence created damage in the tail surface that weakened the tail surface and set up the circumstances under which this catastrophic accident could have occurred.
Investigators now say Flight 587, which shuttered twice before plunging to the ground, did pass through the wake turbulence of a Japan Airlines 747 that took off just before it.
We do not know whether this really contributed in any way to the actual accident, but we are looking at this very closely.
Investigators say there was less than 2 minutes between the takeoffs of the two jets, but the wake turbulence alone from another plane should not have caused the breakup of American Airlines Flight 587. Peter?
Thank you, Lisa Stark. When we come back, Elizabeth Vargas will have some of the day's other news from New York City. The troubling security lapses at airports continues. Screeners asleep at the X-ray. We'll take a closer look tonight at the black market in nuclear weapons. How close have terrorists come to getting what they want? And in California, 100 years and still burning. That is reliability.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Total Cereal.
Morning, guys.
Hi.
Hey. Morning. Like to see how your cereals stack up the total?
Go ahead.
To get the iron in 1 bowl of Total, you'll have to eat 2 bowls of cornflakes. For folic acid, try 4 bowls.
That's a really big spoon.
Want zinc? 10 bowls for you.
What's so funny? Nothing.
Nice bowl. Total has 100% of 11 vitamins and minerals in just 1 bowl.
We'll take the total, sir. Give Junior the check. What?
Total. 1 bowl, 100%. Look for savings on Total in Sunday's paper.
After the new Chevy Trailblazer, everything else just seems kind of weak. The all-new 270 horsepower Chevy Trailblazer, like a rock.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today.
Should have used Preparation H.
Preparation H medicated wipes with aloe, the easy way to cleanse, cool, and soothe. Easier because they're 4 times bigger than Tux pads. Preparation H medicated wipes, big relief.
Abner, we're rich.
We're rich?
It's our new litter. It's got diamonds in it.
Diamond! What's a diamond?
A diamond is a very valuable...
You are mistaken, my friends. The diamonds are crystals in new Tidy Cats Crystals blend. The clay traps moisture. The crystals eliminate odor. And that is the only reason I agreed to live here with the likes of you.
Whatever.
New Tidy Cats Crystals blend.
I still think they're diamonds.
Your eyes need nutrition as well as the rest of your body. So Centrum and Centrum Silver added lutein to help maintain your precious sight. Now your eyes, your toes, and everything in between are covered by Centrum and Centrum Silver. More complete from A to Zinc.
On Capitol Hill today, transportation officials told senators that there are still serious security problems at the country's airports, even after September 11th. Over the past several weeks, the Transportation Department found numerous security breaches. ABC's Linda Douglas joins us now. Good evening, Linda.
Good evening, Elizabeth. Well, the government investigators testified that they are still finding alarming lapses of security at the nation's airports.
Less than 10% of checked luggage is being screened by bomb detection machines because few workers have been trained to use the equipment. One operator was caught dozing after a 20-hour shift.
They didn't have a replacement, so we shut down the machine.
Security is hit and miss at many airports. said the head of a business travelers association, who described her own experience at Reagan National last week.
I was no longer asked for ID. My computer was not checked. No one was wanded. 2 weeks ago, every third person on my flight was randomly checked. Last week, no one.
Yesterday in Chicago, a chef was arrested at the gate after flying in from Miami with sharp cooking utensils in his bag.
We now, across America, are confiscating nail clippers at a time when we learned that a man got on a plane yesterday with 2 meat cleavers in Miami.
A United flight attendant said she and her colleagues still fear they may have to confront a terrorist who has slipped through security.
We actually talk about breaking wine bottles to protect ourselves in case of a terrorist attack.
Many senators are furious that low-wage private are still doing the screening because Congress can't agree on whether to federalize security workers.
Continuing to allow the American people to rely on these contract baggage claim people is like letting the Boston Strangler massage your neck.
House and Senate negotiators are considering a compromise, federalizing all airport workers for a time, but letting some airports use private screeners later on. They're hoping to reach some kind of an agreement by the end of this week, Elizabeth.
All right, Linda Douglas, thank you for that report. When we come back, a closer look at the nuclear weapons on the black market. Osama bin Laden wants them.
Being first is never easy. Will I make it? Will I be laughed at? Will it be worth it?
I'm every man.
And every woman who ever suffered from frequent, persistent heartburn.
If you've treated your heartburn and changed your diet, but it comes back 2 or more days a week, then you may know about the burning pain of acid reflux disease.
But there's something about acid reflux that I didn't know.
Over time, that acid churning up can wear away the lining of your esophagus.
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't.
But today, there's a purple pill called Nexium. It's from the makers of Prilosec. Just 1 prescription Nexium a day gives many people complete resolution of heartburn symptoms.
That could mean complete heartburn relief.
And importantly, Nexium is also proven to heal erosions in the esophagus caused by acid reflux. Only a doctor can determine if you have this damage. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium and Prilosec are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So talk to your doctor and call this number for more information and for a free trial certificate for Nexium.
Relieve the heartburn, heal the damage. It's possible with today's purple pill called Nexium.
How precise can changing a hearing aid battery get? Oh, this precise. Introducing the Energizer Easy Change, the world's first hearing aid battery dispenser. Simply turn the dial, then slide the battery out to activate. The magnetic arm holds the battery securely for precise placement every time, no matter what hearing aid style or battery size you use. The Energizer Easy Change. It changes batteries precisely.
That's 400 years of grime. As an art restorer, I do know a thing or two about stains. That's why I tried new Crest White Strips. It's the thin little strips with the same whitening ingredient dentists use. 30 minutes twice a day. Crest White Strips get at stains below the enamel to whiten teeth 10 times better than the leading whitening toothpaste in just 2 weeks. And it lasts at least 6 months. With Crest White Strips, I want to show everyone this work of art.
New Crest White Strips. Reveal your wider smile.
Tomorrow, he led New York's finest through their finest hours. But what was it like for the man at the center of it all? NYPD Commissioner Carrick. Personal revelations on Good Morning America.
We're going to take a closer look tonight at terrorism and the bomb. Osama bin Laden has boasted of having nuclear weapons. Many weapons experts do not believe him. But the International Atomic Energy Agency says that in the last 8 years, there have been 175 cases of trafficking nuclear material and 200 cases of trafficking other radioactive material. Much of this smuggling involves the former Soviet Union, whose vast nuclear program is in disarray. There is a burgeoning black market. Here's ABC's Brian Ross.
The nuclear black market starts in Russia.
runs through here, Turkey, and extends to Europe and Africa, according to one of the world's leading authorities on missing nuclear material.
There is a black market in weapons-grade uranium, there is a black market for weapons-grade plutonium, and there certainly is a market for radioactive material in general.
Just last week, police in Istanbul released pictures of two men allegedly trying to sell several pounds of nuclear material to undercover police. It is just the kind of material authorities fear could be added to a conventional weapon to make what is called a dirty bomb.
Picture the dust-caked office worker who survived the World Trade Center attack. His body would be contaminated. If you can make your conventional explosive to lace it with radioactivity, is really child's play.
All of which has raised serious concerns about the extensive efforts of Osama bin Laden to go nuclear.
Would bin Laden do that? In a heartbeat, if he could.
Bin Laden's men made their first nuclear move in Sudan in the mid-1990s. But the man sent on the mission, a key lieutenant, Mahmoud Salim, got ripped off, perhaps by the Russian mafia, according to the American lawyer who used to represent Salim, Charles Adler.
There was an effort to buy some enriched uranium.
And they got ripped off?
I think it just wasn't what it was purported to be.
Since then, Russian nuclear arsenals and facilities have been repeatedly targeted for theft.
The fact that we know of cases of kilograms of this material getting loose is a source of very serious concern.
And recently, Taliban agents tried to recruit a Russian nuclear scientist.
He himself decided not to go along with the recruitment, but 3 of his colleagues had already departed his institute for places unknown.
Surveillance flights over bin Laden training camps have not detected any evidence of nuclear material, but authorities say it's not for lack of trying. Brian Ross, ABC News, New York.
A closer look for tonight. And now we return to Peter Jennings in San Francisco.
Thank you, Elizabeth. When we continue from San Francisco, continuity and change.
Mom, how many Tums did you take right in front of the wedding planner?
You snuck one, too.
It was a Pepsid Complete.
It's not the same as Pepsid AC?
No, there's nothing else like Pepsid Complete. It works fast like Tums, but it lasts for hours like Pepsid AC. So your heartburn goes away and then stays away.
Chewable? Calcium? I gotta try this.
Decision?
Tony, fabulous.
Pepsid Complete. Just one, and heartburn's done.
Have you tried the anchovy cookies?
Oh, yeah.
And the jalapeno dip?
How can you provide for the future of the people who depend on you? With the power of Pacific Life. For over 130 years, Pacific Life has improved the lives of millions with investments, annuities, and insurance. Because careful planning today can help them reach their dreams tomorrow. Discover the power of Pacific Life.
Over the years, I've learned that when something works, you stick with it. There you go. After bypass surgery a few years ago, I needed to lower my cholesterol. My doctor told me about Zocor. He said Zocor, along with a healthy diet and exercise, could really lower my cholesterol. Okay, let's do it again. Taking Zocor every day has kept my cholesterol where it should be and significantly reduces the risk of heart attack among people with high cholesterol and heart disease. That's something to feel good about.
Zocor is a prescription medication and is not for everyone, including women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant, or people with liver problems. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems because serious side effects can result. Tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience and about any medicines you are taking.
Good job. When diet and exercise aren't enough, ask your doctor about Zocor. Take care of yourself. It's your future. Be there.
Okay, the coast is clear.
Good. Listen, Teddy, everyone's excited about the new Windows XP, right?
Yeah.
Well, now we get them really fired up. We take XP, we load it onto our 300S. We add a free CD burner, include a flat screen, and we sell it all for $9.99.
$9.99 with a flat screen?
Exactamundo.
I'm Paul Enman. Coming up next on K2 News, a suspect arraigned in court
accused of supplying drugs that may have led to a death at a rave party. Plus, find out how seatbelts may have prevented many more injuries in this morning's school bus accident, and how satisfied are Portland airline passengers. Hear how high J.D. Powers ranks PDX next on K2 News.
Look around. Since 9/11, people touched by fear and resolve. Tomorrow, Peter Jennings is on the road with Postcards from America on World News Tonight.
Finally this evening from here in California, continuity and change. As we said at the beginning of the broadcast, even thousands of miles from ground zero, it takes no time at all to feel that much of life has changed.
Here in San Francisco, I would say that there's been some heightened sense of security, certainly in the public transportation system.
We had the bridge threats, and that affected everyone here.
The terrorist threats against California suspension bridges were not realized at the time of the warnings, and the few people we have talked to already say it is the economy today that worries them most.
There's just a lot of my friends are losing their jobs. You know, before it was the .com, you know, but every other industry is losing jobs.
Every day I hear the people, friends calling and saying that they are getting laid off, and even I got laid off today.
Tomorrow we'll listen to others. There was just one more item here, actually about 40 miles from here, which caught our attention today. It's a story of a simple light bulb, and it says a lot about continuity. ABC's Brian Rooney reports tonight from Livermore, California.
This little light burns all day and all night. It burns on its own internet site. It has lit the firehouse since the pumper was pulled by a horse.
Just gave enough light for the volunteer firefighters when they responded to the fire bell to come in, light their kerosene lanterns, get their equipment, and then go to the fire.
That was 1901, when no one could expect the bulb would shine for a century. The Livermore bulb has been turned off only twice when it was moved to new station houses. It has burned for 880,000 hours. The 4-watt bulb with curly carbon filament was made by the Shelby Electric Company in Ohio. Look at it from below, and it seems to say it's on. Gary Drummond is an amateur local historian.
It's been one of those things in the community that's sort of a given. Oh, yeah, we've got a light bulb that's been burning for a long time down at the fire station.
This is the oldest burning bulb ever.
School children visit the light bulb. Neither they, their parents, or grandparents were born when this light was first turned on. A visitor's book is filled with signatures from places like Japan and Ukraine. Today, the bulb hangs high out of the way, but it was not always treated with reverence. Fire Chief Gary Stewart says he comes to work every day hoping the bulb still works.
People would throw a Nerf ball or a Frisbee. It would occasionally swing on its cord. Some firefighters would come by and touch it to tap it for good luck. It was just the old bulb that was hanging around the house.
It isn't much to look at, and it doesn't cast much light, but it works.
And in a world that's just whirling with change, it's there, still, steady.
For those who ask why they can't make light bulbs like it today, the answer may lie in the fate of Shelby Electric, which went out of business. You can make light bulbs that last, but you won't last long making them. Brian Rooney, ABC News, Livermore, California.
Nice to see that light bulb. It does indeed say something about continuity. That is our report on World News Tonight. We hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. We'll be here again tomorrow. I'm Peter Jennings. Good night from San Francisco.
Tonight, what caused Drew Carey to nearly collapse in his dressing room, to be rushed straight from the set to the emergency room?